could be a sleeping nyala. It's resting.
I don't think they sleep like that, huh?
No. Not unless they're really, really, really tired.
Mm-hmm.
This one is like this one. He's really tired. He's
He's really tired. Yes.
Fighting with the leopard. Welcome to Juma, everybody. Welcome to our PM safari. My name is Mark. Hi there. Hello to planet Earth. And Seb is on camera. Tara is in final control. And a very special guest that we have with us all the way from Canada, Fabienne. Hello. Welcome.
Hello. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
We've been interacting for so long. It's so wonderful to meet people after being on the computer and knowing that you're out there answering your questions. So I hope we're still going to get some questions from you. You don't have to email them today.
Okay, I'll do my best.
So you're going to get a straight direct line to me.
I will do that.
Okay. So we're up on Triple M, and as you can see, we have a Nyala bull. For those of you who might not have been with us this morning, a Nyala bull that was killed by Jordaan right here on the main road. The carcass fortunately has been dragged off of the main road by now. By him, no doubt. But he is nowhere to be seen. And as I was about to say, this is a main road and it's full of traffic. There is a truck, a delivery truck, probably one of the food delivery trucks for one of the lodges, making its way this way. And that possibly accounts for his absence right now. What is interesting is that there are vultures landing in trees. Well, can't see any now, but we saw quite a few coming in. We saw some landing. But none of them are approaching the kill. So what we're going to do, we're just going to drive around a little bit and look in the guarri bushes and see if we can see this gentleman of a leopard. With vultures flying in, there's always a possibility that they're going to be attracting other predators. And we saw that it was very easy to see how when Tara found those lion the other day, how that female, from sleeping, she saw a vulture. The first vulture she saw, I actually saw it because she did. I saw her look up and there was a vulture very, very high in the sky. And that one vulture brought in some other vultures. And as the vulture started getting lower and lower, she started getting more and more interested. The thing is that I'm guessing that they must have had a kill already, and she knew that the kill was there because the other lion were there. I think she and that other male broke away from that group to go and drink. And seeing those vultures coming in probably reminded her that... Did you see? Was there some... Oops, lost the picture.
There was not much left.
There he is. In front of you on the termite mound.
There he is, on the termite mound.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I'm going to stop Jordaan. Don't go. Oh, stood on a thorn. Or he stood in a hole. So as soon as he moves, I want to stop to show that I don't want to push him. If I carried on driving, he would have carried on walking. So I just wanted to, even if we don't have a good view right now, I want him to just relax. Get the message. Now I wonder, that feature that he's got on his rump there, that parallel line of spots, seems two of his sons have inherited it. He's just peering over the top of the termite mound. I'm just going to thicker bush and lie down in thicker bush. You can relax there, dude. Just watch if we won't even get any closer to you. He's not looking very full. He has fed. I think we'll even get a look at him in that stuff. What time was that elephant in front of your room? More or less.
Noon.
Noon?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Was
he
it
stayed
a
for a good 15 minutes there.
Big bull.
Yes.
There we go. You can just see him. We'll just let him. Should we got a good. So we'll at least get a view of his face. You see him? Through that gap.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I can get him.
Now, unfortunately, with this kind of habitat and him choosing to stay hidden, well, should.
Let me see.
Is that camera that you set it and it only takes a picture when the people smile?
No.
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 Nikon have got that, you know that?
Do you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
A friend of mine visited me at home when I was on leave. He's got it looks the same as that, but it's not a fancy metallic Ferrari red color.
Well, I'm fancy.
Oh,
What
you
can
are
I say?
fancy indeed.
Yes. Okay, I got him.
But it has technology that you press the button, but it won't actually, the software won't make it take the photo until everybody smiles.
How is that possible?
That's it.
It's smile technology.
It's
It's,
impossible.
I don't believe that. He's pulling our legs.
trust me, I also couldn't believe it. But there's more to it. There's, I forget, there were all sorts of other things. Anyways, we're talking about sleek cameras, or intelligent cameras rather. We're
Well-
sitting with a leopard. More appropriate to talk about leopards and things. Those of you joining us, this is a fantastic old leopard. He's the dominant male leopard of this area. His name is Yambilu Jordaan, or just the Jordaan male. You can find his page on Facebook as well, Jordaan male leopard. I don't think you'll find the Yambilu part on Facebook. He is the father of the cubs that we see. Meshu, Induna, Shivambalana, and Shivinzi. I'm trying to think, I think the last time I saw him, he was with his son Induna on the Nyala kill. He has a penchant for Nyala. This old man. Not so old. I don't know, how old is he?
How old is he?
9, I think. I don't know. Can't remember. One of those things. I did know. I can't remember now.
11, 12, no?
No, I don't think he's that old.
How old is Mafunyan?
Let's ask our viewers.
Yeah.
How old is Mafufunyan and how old is Jordaan? You see, this is only 5 megapixels and and then zooming in, there's not much of a...
Mm-hmm. No,
but it's
yeah.
still
This
managed.
is
I would
12 megapixel and 21. So,
21 times zoom.
yeah.
It's only 10 times, but it's
Is it
best
heavy?
feature is
Is it heavy?
no, its best feature is the macro stuff that
Okay.
I take,
Okay.
all the insects and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot heavier than that though. Is it? Same. Because I have a little lens that I screw on the end for macro work.
The macro is, oh yeah, okay.
Because the macro feature is good, but
Mm.
that makes it even better. Speaking of macro, I've actually got a toy with me to show everybody later. I don't know, I'm wondering if we should sit here much. I can try and move again. If he relaxes a little bit more. So despite the fact that you're moving around areas that we don't go to, I mean, I suppose that's one other benefit of coming here, is that you get to go to Buffelshoek and Torchwood and that, and you hear about that, and you seeing places I haven't even seen yet.
Oh, we saw some exterior, but unless we see a sign, he doesn't. I was not told what it was.
Oh, okay, I suppose.
Oh,
But the lion were on Buffelshoek.
What is that?
okay.
What's beeping?
Yeah, okay.
I think I've already got.
Okay. We're back. A relief. We had a malfunction. A gremlin. And fortunately Seb found a loose cable that had shut us down, and it's all up and running again. So welcome back. We've left Yambila Jordaan to his own devices. He actually crawled deeper into the bush. I think he's probably going to be inundated with vehicles this afternoon. So I think what we'll do is we'll carry on. Is there anywhere you particularly want to see? Well, we want to go past quarantine and the open area near camp, and we're going to go past the sausage tree,
Yes.
and then we'll see from there.
Sure.
Maybe we can show Fabienne Teddy.
Oh, Teddy, yes.
Have you seen Teddy?
No,
No,
when
so
we went there, everybody was sleeping and he was not out.
Oh, well, let's
We had
do
some
that.
very nice interactions yesterday with Selena.
Yeah, Selena had a lovely time.
Yes, they went just a little bit after us, and then they were up and
Okay.
awake.
So I tell you what we'll do. We'll do Impala Road. This is Sandy Patch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember a time when Sandy Patch and her cub chased the giraffe?
No, I was not. I was not
Did you
I
remember that?
didn't see that. I heard about it, but I
Remember that cheetah and her daughter that killed them two impala at the end of drive? Cat as camera.
Nope.
That happened
No,
in
I
here.
was not there.
But yeah, where Sandy Patch chased the giraffe is just behind us on Sandy Patch. She was you might have known her more than me.
She got it. She got the.
No, it was a young giraffe, and she had that chronic limp
Oh,
that hindered her ability.
we had two nice. We had a mother and a baby giraffe yesterday with the sunset
Oh wow!
at the airstrip. It was gorgeous.
Oh, that's good. It was particularly good sunset yesterday.
Mhm.
So this is Impala Road that takes from Sandy Patch. Almost follows Triple M, that main road that we were on with the carcass.
Mhm.
It
Okay.
runs almost parallel to that main road called Triple M. We're a little bit further away from it now, but soon you'll be able to see those power lines that demarcate. Well, this is some of the most beautiful areas. Sadly today it's a little bit overcast, but from here you get a really nice view of the escarpment, the Drakensberg in the distance. But it's this rain and this weather there's also been a fire. Did you smell it today?
Yes, I did.
And there are a lot of bits of ash falling out of the sky. So there was a bushfire somewhere. And funnily enough, it could possibly be a controlled burn. It's actually actually the best time of the year to do a burn. And when this time of the year, as you can see, there's quite a bit of green amongst the grasses. And because of the amount of moisture in the grasses, it's only really the dry, moribund stuff that burns away. It makes a lot of smoke. There is, I guess, a lot of smoke in the air. But it has a very distinct smell to it. And why it's a good time of the year is because some of the seed is already germinated and it's already a little bit green. The temperatures are perfect for it. And you don't do too much damage. It would be what we would call a cold fire as opposed to a hot fire.
The germinating plants, they keep growing?
For some of them, they will be. Well, some of them are hidden underneath the green of the grasses, and it's that sort of. I wouldn't say fire retardant, but maybe fire, or rather not fire resistant, but fire retardant. It slows the heat down, having so much greenery, because as the greenery burns, it creates steam, and the flames are not that hot. So a lot of growth survives, and it actually does better because all the dry stuff that's preventing it from getting light and nutrients is burnt away. So I thought what we'll do is we'll go past the den now.
Okay.
It's overcast. Oops. Is it? Who knows? No way of knowing whether they'll be playing or sleeping or out or in. Perfect temperatures to be out rather than in. Short of that, we'll do a loop around the open area and Philemon's Dip. And anything you want me to stop for, please don't hesitate.
Okay.
A bird or a flower or a tree or a... We'll treat this as Fabienne's personal safari and she's just all along for the ride.
Yes.
Me too. I'm just operating the pedals. You tell me left or right.
The driver.
There's an elephant. Oh, this is the big boy that Taro was with yesterday. I think, perhaps. Sorry, no, it wasn't the same elephant. It isn't the same elephant. He didn't like me doing that. Let's try. Different angle from this side. This is turned. How do you feel about elephants?
I love elephants.
Good.
And I hope to see a little baby before I leave.
I was hoping so too. He's not friendly, is he?
No. Playing hide and seek with you.
Yeah. Not thorn. There's a daker. Okay, we'll stop.
Cash.
He's a tall boy, he's not too old. I can try, when he relaxes, and try and move up a little bit and see which way he goes. Around the other side of the jackalberry. Around the other side of the jackalberry.
Thank you.
Round and round the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. Careful the thorns here.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. It's like he's like the same. Come on, Lobster. Let's go. He's like the same temperament as Jordaan. For now, let him get used to us being here. He's not going to feed on that tree for very long. New growth that is eating. Jackalberries are not that palatable when the leaves are fully developed. And they shouldn't be too palatable as they're starting to grow. Sort of an in-between when they're like now, they're not the red when they begin, because when they start growing they're a reddish color, and this is they start turning green, they obviously become.
They don't taste good.
No, generally not. Generally they already have quite a high tannin level. The adult leaves, because they're very heavy, they're quite leathery and quite dry, and so they'll be quite bitter. You can sometimes tell some of the trees that don't have thorns, their leaves are not that palatable. Either sometimes the leaves are hairy, or they're leathery, or they got very high tannin levels already. And the jackalberry is one of those. It doesn't have any thorns or spines or any physical defense, so it must have something else to prevent its leaves from being utilized too much, and that would be in the form of tannins or alkaloids, or. But in this this early part of the season, when the jackalberries are just getting their new leaves, when they just start, they're red, and there's a red. I forget the substance, the chemical that makes the leaves go red. It's the same thing that makes your maples go red, to some degree.
Okay.
It's a chemical that goes into the leaf to stop things eating the leaves when they're at a vulnerable point, or when the tree's at a vulnerable position or time. Yeah, I think so. That's what we were asking for. Age of Jordaan. Shirley, Nancy, Robert, Jane and Gail came back with an answer on the age of Yambilu. MJ. MJ as in Hawaii, MJ. Mary Jane. This is how soft that is. Yambilu is 7 years old. 6 to 8. Hello, boy. Born 2002. It makes him nearly 9 years old. So my fufunya in 98, he's 13 years. I do know this bull because I know that hole in that ear. That left ear of his. He is a big one. He hasn't got such great tusks, but he's a pretty tall ellie. See, these leaves are nice and soft, almost furry. Not much is going to eat that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually gonna leave him be. He's clearly not. Yeah, he's not. He's clearly not happy with the vehicle around him at the moment. Maybe we can go find that herd near. So, a question for Fabienne.
Okay.
From Gail.
Yeah. Okay.
Wants to know what animals you've seen.
Oh God, almost everything. Well, not almost everything. Zebra, giraffe, elise, leopard, lion, impalas, kudus, nialas, mongoose, humans.
We didn't see
warthogs.
cheetah.
No.
That was yesterday morning, I think.
Squirrels. That's about it, I think. Maybe I forget a couple, but
Any stations out here? One in Glove on Impala Road, Powerline Junction. Copy, thanks. Message from Ruth to say she's taping the drive for you.
Thank you.
Got a signal breakup. This little patch, always when back down here, the lodge and the mast is just over that hill, so this is always this little signal patch. It's not good.
That's the route that sent you the t-shirt.
Yes. No, I was going to say that. Stop talking because the signal breakup. I have to say thanks. I was actually wearing it this morning and last night.
Yeah, she knew about that 2 weeks ago.
But
She knew that I was going to be on drive 2 weeks ago, and nobody told me. Nobody told me.
these people that keep secrets
They do. They were doing that behind my back.
behind your back. Hello, children. How are we looking? Actually quite pretty when they're all bunched together and you just get all the contrast in the different colors and things. Now you were here this morning having your coffee. Did you see the two baby chicks, the two little...
Yes, I have pictures.
Oh,
yes,
great.
yes, they were. Mom and Dad were very upset.
Yes, they were.
I could have rolled over them.
Oh. Sorry, Ty, was that Susan? Linda. Sorry, Linda. Linda wanted to know why the hyena weren't there. Oh. What do you get a fright for, girl? She's seeing something behind us. I wonder if we've got a leopard. Something moving around. Zebra. You see the zebra? There in the distance.
Oh,
There's
there.
some zebra too. Linda, the hyenas haven't smelt it or cottoned onto it yet. Apart from the fact that it's been broad daylight, but during the night, since it was seen at probably around 8 o'clock last night, I guess hyenas were busy elsewhere. And I think he was probably lucky that none of the hyenas happened to pass that way, or that the wind was blowing in from the south and it was taking the scent away from where the hyena den is, or where they tend to move around in this part of the world. So although there might be a number of reasons, the bottom line is they just didn't know about it yet. Now with the vultures that were starting to come in when we arrived there, didn't know where they went to, those vultures, but with them arriving, there's a strong likelihood that hyena, seeing them go in that direction, will head that way this evening, and I'm sure later this afternoon or at some point hyenas will make an appearance. I've just heard from Henry that Jordaan is actually moving up north towards Sydney's dam. He's probably going to have a drink. That's a good question for you, actually, because I've had people that have come to Africa and they've only ever seen animals in film, and they say that in real life they're different. Do you notice that? I mean,
No, just it's just the size that is surprising.
Well, that's what I mean.
Size.
Do they look bigger in real life, or?
Not all of them. For me, it was the giraffe and the elephant.
Yeah.
The buffalo, I had,
You had an idea, yeah.
the size. The antelopes, the others were not surprising.
But then I guess a lot of people see animals in zoos, and they. But then even then, zoos are not a real. You still don't have much of an idea of scale. Especially since some animals in zoos are overfed and or underfed.
Depends on the zoo.
Yeah. We recently had one of our celebrities in South Africa. He was essentially he started off in radio, but he became an MC, and he's done a lot of charity work. But he started an NGO, he started an organisation to go and save the animals at the Tripoli Zoo in Libya.
Okay.
After this whole business with Gaddafi, those animals were abandoned. And eventually there was quite a collection of animals in that zoo.
Oh.
There was a tiger that they couldn't save.
Oh.
They got there kind of a day late. It was anyway. It's quite sad.
Yes.
Okay. Onward, her. I think I'm just gonna go back to Triple M and have a look at you. Yeah. Interesting question from Minerva about the impala. Do impalas have a leader, or do they generally move together? Well, they do tend to have the older females that know where to take the herd and what to do with the herd. The older females are pretty much like what I said a couple of days ago, that when you've got a group of social animals, there's always a knowledge base and a natural tendency for the older females in the group to be the decision makers. Just as natural as it is for the younger generations to follow them. So yes, in a way there is a leader or leaders. Of course, during the rut, it's the impala ram that we wouldn't call him a leader. He just herds them where he wants them to be. So way up there is where the vehicles are. I can't hear you, Tara. On the top of the furthest rise, that's where that kill is. The Nyala kill. This is Triple M. I just thought I'd come this way. The impala saw something. Maybe they were just curious because we stopped. They thought, oh, there's a vehicle stopped. Must be a leopard. I thought I'd have a look for some tracks here on Triple M, but it carries too much traffic to see anything of note. Yes, that's better. Okay. Now you broke up, so now I didn't get anything. Let's get to top of the ridge here, Tara. Okay, Marsha had a question about a leopard. I do. See, I don't know what's wrong with the Renault. There's a radio problem. Is it M-A-R-S-H-A, Marsha? And I think Marsha's asking about the leopard kill. That was a big Nyala bull, and he did eat quite a lot of it. The hind quarters, he's eaten some of the hind quarters, and he hasn't really touched the shoulders and the neck area yet. I believe he's making his way towards Sydney's dam. There's a good chance he's just going to drink. There might be a chance that he's abandoning it on account of its position and the fact that it's just circumstance that has probably kept him away from it. It just happens to be on a main road, and I guess there's just no way of diverting traffic. Those vehicles have perishable goods that need to get to the lodges need to feed their guests. I think it's possible that now that he's not on the kill, it's possible, and I would condone dragging the kill further into the bush where he can feed on it in peace, but it's too late to do that now. There's always that kind of interfering is always a little bit dicey, but it does impact on him, the fact that it is on a road, and I have had to do that before.
Oh, you did? You did that?
Yeah, just take the kill away from a place where the cat's not going to come back to the kill. I mean, it's like when there was that buffalo kill right in front of the lodge during dinner. It was also the day after that. It was necessary to drag the carcass a little bit away from in front of the dining area.
I remember that.
I don't think Alex will ever forgive me for that. Filming, having him on camera, and we just had the 3D rig set up, and I took him out. Tara had just got back from leave, and I said, Tara, here, sit in FC. This gives us a chance to see the Balanites flower. Only because the branch is broken. You want to hold that for the camera? Please.
Higher?
Puzzles me is how that branch could have only come down.
Fabienne.
Branch could have only come down with the wind, yet it's been fed on by an elephant. And I'm trying to see where it would have come from.
This one there.
Hmm?
Just right there.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
It's way too high for an elephant.
Unless he stands up on his back leg, maybe.
Yeah, unless he stands up. Oh, look, it's got a It's interesting. Actually, I wanted to show you. I brought one especially to show you, and I found one on this branch, and we didn't notice it. But look there.
Oh.
There's a juvenile bagworm.
Bagworm.
Yeah. It's a caterpillar. There you can see. Oh. Can you see its head?
Yeah. Wow.
And I actually brought another bagworm that I found in camp. I want to see. It was somewhere down here. There it is. Come here, child. This one's got a little bit of a. This one has a bit of flair to it. Let's put it on the same branch. These are just pieces of grass that it has found. There we go. Oh! Oops. Yeah, there's a flower for you to eat. There we go. A little bit more ornate. Let me get it into a better position for the camera. A little bit more of a flair for decorating its bag than the other one. There's the other one. Now when they get bigger they're going to sow, or maybe they're a different species. Maybe each one is a different, the two are different species. They're essentially the larva of a moth. And for protection they sew this bag of silk, and they live inside the bag of silk, and they attach bits of debris. And this one's used a bit of sand and a bit of bark perhaps. This one's just mostly using bits of grasses. Very ornamental.
That's pretty.
I found it in the workshop and I put it in the list. You can see its head now.
He was hungry.
Yeah. Remarkable little things. Marula tree. Hello Bob in Texas. Why isn't Jordaan staying with the kill? Well, partly, as I said, because he is a shy leopard, and the vehicles that constantly come by are probably disturbing. He's tried to pull it deeper into the bush. He hasn't succeeded. It probably is quite a heavy carcass. Although having said that, we have seen nyala up trees with him, so he could have taken it up a tree somewhere. So this is Zoe's Road, and this is this beautiful open area where we sometimes stop for sunrises. Were you with us that one day we were with Karula? She had just given birth to these two, and she went into a hole in the termite mound. She was looking for a den site. Yeah, that's termite coming up. There's termite mound coming up now. It was a time when this hyena den was active already. I think this hyena den was active. And she went into that hole, and she actually had her cubs in there for a little bit. Don't know how long. But that was, I think, the very first time they were seen was in that hole. Well, there's Mom Teddy's mom, maybe Teddy's mom, one of the hyenas are there. Were any of them here when you came by before?
There was one female sleeping, not Teddy, but the other young one.
Okay.
The little bit older, sleeping.
That does look like mum. And maybe Teddy will pop head out. It's probably we're probably not going to be able to determine, even when Teddy's an adult, until such time as maybe we either see Teddy, if it's possible to follow its life, whether it's male or female. And
Oh, so even if he's Teddy, he may be a female?
yeah.
I thought Sebastian knew.
You know, even researchers that have been studying them for years and years and years, that have thought in particular hyena as a male, it's only once they lactate, it's only really once they become pregnant, and they might lactate, that you can tell because of the memories. There was a theory once that the genitals were somewhat different in appearance because, well, they look very similar and it's very, very hard to tell. But even researchers that have been handling hyena have been surprised. So it's impossible to tell as young as Teddy is. It's probably better to come back around sunset when the youngsters might be more active. They're probably inside the den sleeping right now. Lots of bits of bone lying all over the place. Don't know why the radio is so bad. It's hissing so badly. Can't be. The aerial's fine. Let me move away from the den. Let's get back up onto Zoe's road. Well, no, we'll do Rebecca's road to Philemon's Dip. And then from there we'll move on. If we're lucky, might be a bit more active later. Yeah, but if we're lucky, because gosh, there's so much to do today. I want to go look for more Ellies. I did, but they don't really have a concept of time. Like we do. Now copying you quite clearly. Hello Ruth in Florida, and yes, we were actually talking to you earlier and then started getting signal break. Hi Ruth, welcome aboard. And then we were on Impala Plains and we came this way, so thanks for the reminder that you're with us, Ruth, and thank you very much for spoiling us. Miami Dolphins t-shirt, I was wearing it this morning actually. Ruth asking the life expectancy of a hyena. True, I've forgotten. Life expectancy of hyena. In the wild? I don't know even. I know that in captivity they've lived for a couple of decades. You remember life expectancy of hyena? I don't know. I don't remember these details. You know, when you become a guide, you've got to write exams so often, and every exam you've got to give weights and measures, and you learn it parrot fashion, and something that comes out of your mouth is. But that was 25 years ago. I haven't used that in my guiding, so you don't use it, you lose it. I've forgotten weights and measures and ages and things. All the young guides that are coming out of guiding schools today, it's automatic for them. They know these numbers. For me, stations 1 Mafaz and PC at the Kaya. Kathy, hello Kathy. In the colourful West Virginia. No, the Mafaz and PC. Oops. Oops. So this is Rebecca's road, and that's how close it is to there's quarantine, or I don't know why I have an aversion to that name because of its implications. Quarantine comes from such an old time, a long time ago, when things were quarantined. For some time, the Nyala, for example, that were brought in here were kept in enclosures until they acclimatized or got accustomed to the area.
It's a nice view.
Pardon?
It's a nice view.
It is. And equally so from that side looking this way when there's buffalo or elephant along this side. So Kathy was asking the name of that plant that the bagworms were on. I guess that was the plant I had. That's the torchwood, Kathy. Balanites is the genus. Balanites aegypticus. There's a zebra. Zebra. Making their way back to the open area probably for this evening. Famous orchid that we look at from time to time here on Rebecca's Road is this one up here in the fork of the tree. A tree orchid. One of the seed pods is actually, two of them have opened. Come and dig in the grasses for some of that seed, unless it's birds. And I'm sure they'll be getting flowers, and especially after this rain, maybe in the next few weeks. The other question about the bagworm was from Sue. No. Evidently in lots of oxpeckers. Oh, but they're coming off as zebras. See, the oxpeckers make that very distinct call. We sometimes don't get that on camera, but when they're flying like that, they've just flown up from their animals, and then you look around, there's the zebra, and that's why they were flying. There's a foal in there, a youngster. Sandy, it probably is the same. Well, your bagworms in the States that are fed on by cuckoos, not necessarily with woodpecker. Both of them, male and female, they've gone. A number of birds here do feed on the bagworms, yes, those that they can get into. I've seen shrikes pulling them open. I've seen woodpeckers getting into them, funny enough. Now this little dip runs to Philemon's Dip. One of the things you can take as a landmark is that pole over there. But between here and Philemon's Dip is not a very big distance. There's a place where Mission and Duna spend a lot of time as cubs. There was a time when they were actually used to play around that pump house, the two boys. We've seen them on this termite mound a lot as well.
It's too soon for the dung beetles?
No, they've started. The rains that we've had, they have started. I saw one of my first dung beetles last night actually. Now this is Philemon's cut line, and that goes into that other hyena den, the one they were using before they went to Zoe's Road. Wow, look at that sky. there's the sausage tree. Yeah, that big one. Most of its flowers, well, it looks like all of its flowers have gone. Now, I'm going to try and actually I'll drive in there because we need to look carefully to see if we can see any fruits growing, because it doesn't look like it's going to be getting any fruit this year. Relax, Franklin. It's a Land Rover.
It happens.
Yeah, already. But you see, if that was loose, then maybe it didn't take a good charge. I don't see it.
No.
You can see, especially towards the back there, you can see some of those long thin things hanging, the little, those are where the flowers were,
Okay.
hanging on those stalks. And normally you'd get the fruit starting to develop on those stalks, but there aren't any. Not even seeing one. Squirrel. Squirrel. Barbara and MJ. Yeah, thanks MJ. Saying about 40 years, and other two saying about 25 years for lifespan of a hyena. I seem to recall, I think one of the longest living was about 45 in captivity, which for a carnivore is actually exceptionally long-lived. Hello John in Texas. Do hyenas ever attack people, or do they shy away from people? There have been known attacks, John, and it is mostly not necessarily that they're attacking the humans as humans, but they're testing pretty much like sharks for food in a way. I know a number of people that have intentionally slept outside around a fire, thinking that because they're around a fire they're safe, and even in wild areas where hyenas are not accustomed to people, hyenas will smell food and they will investigate. And the one thing about humans is we don't ever, even if we wash our hands and face with soap and water, there will still be a lingering scent of meat or food afterwards. Sorry, we're just now out on the open area. This is the southern end of quarantine. That's the bushbrae site. I don't know if they're going to have dinner for you there at all while you're here. Look at these beautiful marula trees with their new leaves. There are isolated incidents of people either being dragged from a tent, or as in the case here in the Sabi Sand, one of the staff members was taken out of his room actually, watching television.
Really?
Yeah, and a lodge further down south. But they had been cooking meat in the room. Yeah, it's a beautiful picture of the sun. Coming through all the cloud. Oh no, come on. Oh, there's a kudu bull down there. I only just noticed him now. Beeping batteries. So early. It's possible that that loose connection meant that it wasn't being charged fully.
Where's the kudu?
Next to that marula down the bottom there. Look here. There's that tree, that big one down the bottom.
Oh yeah, okay.
Quite well hidden actually, unless he moves. Yeah.
Barking, I mean.
Oh, look at him now. Actually, we'll go down that side of quarantine and meet up with him. Although we need to go to the dam, and the baboons are starting to bark. I don't know who's zooming at the dam at the moment, but something might be around.
Shot.
Wow, he's magnificent. This road needs to be fixed. It's terrible.
Another one there.
Yeah. You'll probably go and join him. Come, you welcome to carry on, Mr. Kudu. Hello, Steve in Boston. Don't think tigers will ever be introduced to Africa. No. They are already. There is a tiger breeding project where they're trying to breed tigers and take them back to China. Tigers that are hunting African antelope are going to be reintroduced to. Well, they've just lost one, killed by one of I think the old female. One of the old females killed a younger male for some reason. But no, I think the one thing that we have learnt about the natural world is that we don't take things to places where they don't belong. the impact that tigers would have on the populations of African predators would be catastrophic, because tigers are so big. They would probably dominate over lion. In terms of trying to breed them and trying to relocate them to China, that's a debatable, entirely debatable subject that has some merit to it. But one can never, I mean, in a different country, you can never, sorry old boy, you can never simulate the right environment and the right prey species. That you can only do in its true environment. Such beautiful light on these boys. You're going to stop and pose?
I wish you would.
Like Kathy in Oregon. We're going to leave these boys, go down towards the dam and see if we can maybe see the baboons, and in that we might see what they were shouting at. Kathy, hello Kathy in Oregon. Why won't the sausage tree be getting any fruit? Well, Kathy, this sausage tree is one of the only specimens that we have in this area, and the flowers are relished by so many creatures. But not all of the creatures that love well, it's not so much the flower, it's a bit of both. It's the flowers and the nectar that they hold, because the flowers themselves are very palatable. What do you want? The big marula. And if there were a lot of sausage trees, there would be too many flowers for the amount of creatures that feed on them. And then obviously a lot of them would be pollinated by the right pollinators, which are sunbirds and moths, perhaps type of hawk moths, and bats. But because this is a lone tree, and it for the previous 2 summers, last summer was the first time I know of in years that it had given fruit. The previous 2 summers, 2008 and 2009, it didn't have any fruit, but it had its flowers. And it's mostly because the flowers get broken before they can be pollinated. And normally when the flowers are pollinated, once pollination takes place, the petals and the stamens fall off, and the calyx and the corolla and the ovary remain. And then of course the ovary starts swelling on the stalk. And I've seen in some of the sausage trees up in East Africa, where the sausage trees are quite prolific, I've seen multiple fruits growing on the same stem. There, last year we were lucky to have a few isolated fruits growing on single stems. And it's just a case of too many things like them, and too many things broke the flowers before they could be pollinated. Or even if they were pollinated, the flowers were broken off in their entirety rather than just the petals. Thank you, Kathy. Elephants at the dam. That's where we're going. Although the baboon didn't sound too convincing that there was a predator, there was a lone baboon bark. A grumpy baboon. Hello, Mary Jane in Florida. This might be a weird question, but it's a very good question. Seb's the survival guy. But yes, Mary Jane's asking, if a human were to be lost in the bush, would they be able to survive if they don't eat meat? There are grasses, there are leaves, there are occasionally fruit, there is bark, there are roots. So yes, I think you'd probably lose a bit of weight. As long as you had water, I think that you would, if you knew the plants that you needed to know, I think you would be able to survive. We don't have specialist vegetarian stomachs like the herbivores to deal with the kind of vegetarian diet that you would have to subsist on in the bush. It's different for vegetarians who live in the city because you have a cornucopia of things that you can, beans and all sorts of things that you can use to supplement protein and other elements that you're missing out on, that your body needs. But I think you'd be able to survive. Yeah, we need to find a nice place for sunset today. Quite nice, the sun behind that dead tree, look at it. Hello Tom, Alabama Tom. Wow, that's quite nice. I like. Let me see yours. You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Here. I was gonna put sunset. It's in French.
Coucher de soleil. Where's one of my other ones? That way. Yeah, it's nice. Beautiful effect with this cloud. Oh, the batteries are about to go again. Let's get to the dam quickly because I think the elephant's there and we're about to lose picture and everything. One of those things. Having to deal with mechanical and electrical objects. Side of Gary Dam, open lock. Hello, grey lurry. There's the camera. Yeah. The Queen's Way. Ooh, I heard a bee eater. Hmm? But
Wasn't one that's supposed to be Ellie's?
there was, but it's probably that the email was delayed or something. There's a pied kingfisher. And Jacques just said that he's just left a bull elephant on the eastern side of the dam. No monitor lizards today. There's a terrapin and that piece of wood in the water there. You see the kingfisher? He's flying along the edge of the water there now. Oh, look at that colour. So, Jordaan's back at the kill. Or making his way back there. I was going to turn around and look at that on the other side. Let's see if we can find this elephant. Jock, come in. Did you say there was a law of eastern side of Gary Dam? Which way was he headed? He was headed east. Okay, so he was sort of south side of the dam, north side of the dam? Okay, so not on Google Road. Okay, thanks. And it's gone that way towards Gary Cut Line. A big bull, evidently. That must have been the elephant that was at the dam earlier, a few minutes ago. It's beautiful light. It's this yellow light that you want to see something like leopard or lion or elephant. Leopard, because this is a leopard colored light. And we're looking for a big grey thing.
My best.
There he is. Screech of the brakes. Now, let's see. Light's not going to be that great from this angle, but it'll be the clearest view we have of him. old boy. Just looking into the sun. Sorry, was I in the way? Looks like he's standing at a weird angle. Where he is, I guess. He's on a bit of a slope, right on the edge of a little drop off down into the drainage line. A wise old man.
How old would you put him?
Well, judging by his head, I'd say he's probably in his late 30s, 40. He hasn't got very big tusks. Don't push this, maybe might be enough space if you push this tree. What you done? Come around. You're talking to somebody. Jojo, I want to know if they can bend their front legs but not their back legs. Not really, Jojo. They can go down onto their knees. There, he's sort of bending his left back leg. Now he'd be able to actually go down on his knees on his back legs, and often when they're going down a slope, a very steep slope, they actually go down on their back knee, on their knees. So what's he going to do with the guarri bush? Are you going to have a scratch maybe? See, over the front leg where I'm pointing now, that's his elbow. And for the ellie, he has his knee, and he can go down on his knees if he needs to. And we'll see them, actually you'll see that a lot now going into summer, maybe when we go to mud wallows and when it's getting hot and we see them in the mud. sitting in the last rays of sunshine, if you can call it that. Hello Jennifer. Jennifer sounds like a new viewer. Welcome Jennifer Small. Welcome to Juma. Welcome to our drives. Not such an old man, this. It's not as big as the bull we saw earlier. In body. Jennifer wants to know if we've ever had an animal charge the vehicle. Not really, Jennifer. Not really. In one respect, to some degree, you can control it, and that if one respects the animals and you keep a respectful distance and you let the animals have enough space to go where they want to and you don't get them aggressive, but you can never really guarantee that. I mean, animals have moods like we all do. This elephant, for example, one day might be in a bad mood and he might turn around and object to our presence one day, whereas on a day like today he's pretty relaxed. But yes, over the course of a few decades that I've been with wildlife, I've had animals coming out of the bush at the vehicle because they were in a bad mood. Just an animal's way of saying get away from me, move away. What we call a mock charge, or a... well, I guess mock charge is the best way of describing it. We need to go a bit forward for you, Seb. The inverter is making an awful noise. At the moment he's just chewing bark off some of these sticks that it's I think mostly raisin bush that he's eating at the moment, getting the bark off of it, twisting it in his mouth as his molars chew the bark off. There's still a lot of nutrition. In fact, going into summer, that is where most of the plants have their nutrition, going into their branches and their leaves and the moisture. Counterbalancing by holding his leg out.
Ballerina.
Yeah. Hello, man.
Laughing at you.
Come and say hello to Fabienne. Wow.
Again?
Yes.
Look at Seb.
Turn to the camera and smile.
Really?
For those screenshots that'll be on Facebook now.
God, I shouldn't have done that. I'll regret it for a long time.
You'd hear a human would be 10 times louder than that walking through the bush. And just such an amazing sense of peace about them. Oh, look at that.
Oh boy.
Wow, that was quite a tree that he just pushed. Oh, the duiker, shame. Well, I bet you the duiker will come back and eat on some of those leaves probably. And he's just, no, he will feed on some of the leaves. He wouldn't just do that for Dafka.
Just to impress us.
You, maybe.
I'm impressed.
But the tree itself was barked on one side of it a long time ago. In fact, it's probably him. Almost ring barking the tree, and of course what happens is that insects get into it and it weakens the structure, so you can come back a few years later and with relatively little effort push the tree over. Wow, that sun is something else. Need to get that tree, that elephant. See if we can get you a shot lined up here.
So he pushed.
Yeah, he actually had his trunk up. So he was some elephants push with the outside of their trunk, and some elephants put their trunk up and they push with their upper lip. That's the big jackalberry. Rula's been in it a couple of times. It's amazing, amazing tree. There's something up there, I think. Here's a rhino midden. Hoping to line it up with that dead tree, but it'll just have to line up with the termite now. I don't know how well that'll come out. Isn't it great now?
everybody, this is Time Final Control, and unfortunately the batteries gave out on us. But hopefully now that we've found that loose connection, they will, we'll be able to fix it properly, and hopefully we'll be able to get it on charge. And maybe that could be the problem that we've been having and we just haven't realised it. But here's hoping. Keep your fingers crossed. So hopefully we are going to have a full drive tomorrow. We'll see if the inverter starts beeping or not. At least it'll help us out a little bit to understand what's going on, I think. But thank you very much for joining us, and it's been great to have Fabienne on board. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as I say, it's been great to have a couple of the viewers and show you guys what it's like to maybe be on board the Gunda for real. And if ever you do come out to South Africa and to Voyatella, certainly let us know, and we'll see if we can organise the same thing for you guys as well. Who knows? But as I say, if you can join us for 6 o'clock Central Africa time, I'll be heading out, and weather permitting, we'll start doing the checklist challenge. We'll start with that and have your checklists out and ready. And all you need to do if you don't have your list is send an email to Eugene at checklistjuma@hotmail.co.za. So checklistjuma@hotmail.co.za. So if you haven't got your checklist yet, feel free to email him. And it's up to you how you use it. You can either use it just to tick off what you see on all the drives that myself, Mark and Seb do, or you can use it to tick off whatever we see on the particular drives of Mark or myself or Sebastian. You can even do it as whichever ones you identify correctly. It's all up to you as how you want to use your checklist. But as I say, myself and Mark and Sebastian have our individual ones, and it is going to be a challenge between the three of us to see who can get the most species identified by you guys. So let's see how we go. As I say, weather permitting, hopefully we will see quite a lot of things tomorrow, and hopefully we won't get rained out. If the rain's going to happen, I hope it happens now. But take care, everybody, and as I say, we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.